back to what these guys said. When you say you want to grow, the first question you ask is why. And it's not because you have to do it. It's got to be because you want to do it. Now, if you want to do it, fine, great. But understand what it's going to take and how your business is going to have to change. And most important, how the people in your business, some of them may not make it. And, you know, the hardest decision that any business person has, I think, is when you get to a point and you look around and you realize that the people who've been with you the longest time, who believed in you when nobody else believed in you, who were there for you whenever you needed them, you got to go to them and say, thanks, but you're not what I need in this company. That's the worst thing, and it's the hardest thing for anybody to do. And you know, but if you want a certain kind of growth and you want to get to a certain level, sooner or later you're going to have to do that. One, Springfield, I think, is a very, in my experience, a very unique community. I don't really know any place else that's quite like Springfield. And it's not just the fishing, although that's part of it. It's very unusual to have a city of this size that has a very sort of small town feeling to it, and yet has the cultural and business that you would get in a much larger city. I mean, that's an unusual combination. You know, I mean, it gets back to the thing about my knowing more of Jack's neighbors than my neighbors in Cambridge, Massachusetts. It's, you know, you really do get to know people on a different level. The second thing I'd say about Springfield is that it's an incredibly entrepreneurial. This is, I guess, the point that it's incredibly entrepreneurial. Entrepreneurship is respected. It's celebrated here. There's a lot of sort of cultural support for it, and that's incredibly important. And it's something, I mean, I've talked to people at Drury about this, that you know, in terms of Drury developing an identity, that really its greatest asset is its location in Springfield, and that there's there's an opportunity. The world wants entrepreneurship.
The first time I came here many years ago, I visited Jack on a number of occasions, is that you have to be very careful coming to Springfield. Jack took me fishing on his lake, and for those of you who don't know, he has trained trout. So what he does is, he casts in.
He can't catch it.
He casts in and pulls in these big whoppers of trout. I'm there all day, not being able to catch anything. And he says, you must bait your hook wrong. And he takes a secret bait out and he puts it on. And I cast out for the first time and caught about a 12 pound. But to be serious, and that's true. For the size of this town, you have created some unbelievable companies and some unbelievable people came through here. And it's really quite impressive. Now, I come from a town of, I guess, 9 million people. And you don't have that same warm, fuzzy feeling you have here that everybody knows you. You don't have to keep your hands in the pocket so you don't get pickpocketed. It's a real cozy place to live.